Hello, everybody, and welcome to your critique. Let's go ahead and start with Sarah's demo reel here. So once again, we're just kind of looking at the cut of it. Now, obviously, when they're animated films, they're already in the can. You can't really do anything about the specifics of them. You can't also do breakdowns of them generally. They won't let you do that. So they kind of are what they are. And also, just so you let you know, I showed my kids part of this movie this weekend, and they very much loved it. So thank you for. And it was honestly because I looked at your demo reel last week a few times. But yeah, this is all looking great. This one feels slow to me. I would check the frame rate on this, like in terms of the actual animation. Like make sure that it wasn't rendered at 24 frames a second. You're playing at 30 or something. Shot looks good. Yeah, this is going to be a quiet start of this lighting critique today because I feel like this is... Should just go from that to that. Yep. Alright, cool. Might be one too many shots in there. I think that's okay. I think it's okay. I'm just looking for something to say. But yeah, I think this is all playing out really well now. Yeah, all good. I maybe wouldn't, just some minor stuff. Maybe wouldn't fade to black before you go into your title card. Just cut to it. This kind of like fade to black and then pop up thing gets a little bit. Again, like when you're making these demo reels, it's a lot of like hitting people where they are, and where these people are like in a room reviewing a bunch of these, and they don't want to see wasted time. So even just like something like that, they just want to keep it like nice and snappy. So the biggest one is just look at this this animation. Just make sure it's being played back at the right frame rate. It looks like it's a little choppy. So maybe that's just the way it was rendered. And then I want to look at this breakdown too. Yeah, good job. Good job pausing on that last frame a little bit. So all good here. I would just one last pass through. Just make sure you don't have any typos. That's always a big one. I always misspelled lighting, which is a problem because it was my career for the longest time. I was mix up letters in there. So just make sure you got no typos, and I think you're good to go. All right, cool. Let's hop into some other ones here. We've got, we'll keep on the video front, and we will go in from the gifts from my ex. So thank you for rendering this out. This is really helpful. So all in all, it's looking pretty good. The couple of the biggest things that I'm seeing are, I think the character in the back, the woman holding the bear, I think she looks really good, except for she gets a little bright in spots. I think the key light on the character is a little bit strong, and again, especially when it's like a little bit more muted back here, I think we just need to balance that out a little bit more, like push down the key light value on the characters, and then push it up just a little bit more in the environment. I really, really like where your head's at, in that you're like, no, we want it to be brighter on the characters than it is on the environment, but I think it's a little bit too extreme right now. The other thing is when the character sitting down leans forward, it appears, it's like they get a little bit too dark in there. I'll just keep them out. And then the other thing too is, and again, this comes back to mood, is just like the key to fill ratio is a little bit dark overall, like as we're watching it play out. It's a matter of how dramatic you want to play it versus kind of lighthearted. So this feels a little bit more, not somber is not the right word, I don't know the right word, but a little bit heavier, or dramatic, I guess, where if you just added some more fill light, it would feel a little bit more like rom-com type of a thing. So it all just depends on what you're going for. The other thing I would double check on is the material on this bookcase. Just something I'm seeing about it. Do you see how it looks like the wood grain? This is totally nerdy. The wood grain is like going this way. It's like at a weird angle, and it's like kind of going like this. And especially back there. You just want to kind of make those a little more perpendicular. I mean, you always want the wood grain to kind of go with what would be the longest strip of wood, because again, if you think about it, it's like long sheets, and they cut them and then do things with them. So just something to look into there. And I think that is about it. If you wanted to go bonus points, I would throw like some sort of, writing, like, there's always the miscellaneous boxes that you have or something. This box looks a little bit too clean for a move. But that's about it. So yeah, I think that's kind of the general notes on that one. I think it's moving along well. Oh, yes. So sorry about this. Yes, it looks like not sorry. I don't work for the Foundry or own. It's basically eventually the non-commercial licenses only last a few months there. So you'll just have to. I think it's like you have to reach out to them or re-download or re-log in and reactivate it. So basically, just go to the website, activate your go into your account, look at your licenses, and I believe there's a way to reactivate it up in there. So. But yes, I just one thing. Since that image was dropped in there, I wanted to draw that attention. This is like, this kind of error, no license found should be that should be the logo of every 3D artist out there. All right, cool. So for this one, I think you've done a really good job of taking on the persona of the reference image, which is great. Let me pull up that reference image again. Yeah, very cool. It matches it well. A little bit, still a little bit on the saturated side, but I think that's fine. This is an old kind of faded painting, so I think that's all good. The one thing, two things that I'm noticing here is like the sky in here goes gray right in the middle. I would look into changing that. So, because one of the things that's nice about the reference is that it kind of goes, it's like a nice smooth transition from blue to the sunsetty brightness down here. Then we don't really ever get that. That just feels like a smoky sky. Two thoughts I have in here. Number one, well, let's see. So the other thing that really obviously makes these two images different is the lack of character there. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't just fill in this hole a little bit more, maybe like one more tree back here or something, because we really want the focus to get in on that. That was thought number one. Thought number two is, and again, this is just the quality that you're going for with the painting, but nothing really feels like specular in there at all. Like I feel like there would be some mud down here and some like wet soil that would be picking up like little reflections and little snippets of that stuff. I would almost maybe go into the roughness map of this stuff and just add a little bit, like just a little bit of specularity in there to kind of break that up a little bit. And then the core value of these leaves is getting a little bit dark in spots. You see, I mean, it's again old painting, but you can see like there's just like a little bit more value in that stuff, just because leaves are translucent. They react to light a little bit more. So just whenever they get really dark, it starts to feel not quite right. So just wanted to draw attention to that. All right, and then Michael will take a look at yours here real quick. So so it's coming along nicely. So the things that I would I think that we need to work on, a few things I was looking at this before. The God rays, the light rays coming down are getting better. The two biggest things about them is that they creep too far into the foreground here. If you look at the reference, they are just a blanket behind the main character. The main character is really kind of, the differentiation point. Everything that's in there is back there, and everything that's like more contrasty is in front. Also, if you look at this, you can almost count the number of rays. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 in there, 6 to 7. Where if you look at this one, there's a lot more. It's a lot more broken up. That makes it feel not quite soft enough. Also, you'll notice that it kind of fades off towards the ground. Like down around here, it kind of loses it underneath the child's head. and these go all the way to the ground. So I would kind of fade them off a little bit more, and then, increase the size of whatever's breaking this up, and then reduce it from the front. In terms of the lighting on the rest of the scene, let's start with the environment lighting. I think it's looking pretty good. Watch out for that hotspot. I don't know where that light would be coming from. You've also got some very black things floating around in here, like this window and this back here. Just double check, and like this right there. Just make sure that there are textures on that stuff. Additionally, this plant right here has got some gray values in there. There's something funky going on with the texture in there too. And the green itself looks a little overly saturated. I like the depth of field. It's a little strong. This is a little bit too out of focus, makes the characters feel a little bit smaller. And then in terms of the character lighting itself, I think that you're doing a really good job getting some nice bounce light on this character here. I would like to see a little bit more on this arm, but this character, she's feeling a little bit flat. Like, let's look at her hero here as our main character. You can even look at this person in the back. Tons of bounce light up on there, right? Huge amount of light pouring around, bouncing off these walls, really firing back up in there, and filling in her face. I would also guess that there's probably some sort of practical light on the other side of this wall shining on this person, but I would, there's no reason why we couldn't do that here. So I think it's a little bit more filled in here, definitely more filled in here, and I'd figure out a way, even if I gotta fake it, to get a little more light wrapping around, and creating some shaping across the character's body a bit more. Just because I see the light here and like all across here. It's just that she herself is in shadow. Yeah. Other than that, it's coming together really well. It's just, we just need to clean up a few things there. Also, if you have the time to, we got a couple days before the next iteration. At some point this week or this weekend, I would like to see a little bit, go ahead and render it at a full 1920 by 1080 resolution, just to see it be a little cleaner. All right, looking over at Jordan. So Jordan, you had a couple questions about this guy. Number one was about the lighting and shading process. I kind of do them when it's my own project and I'm doing both. I kind of do both at the same time. Like you were talking about, you do some rough, you do a rough lighting pass, you add in a little bit of depth of field that you think is about right, and then you start doing the shading work, and then you'll do make tweaks to both, just because they work so much together, and also the lighting will really play a role in how the scene will play out overall, and basically where you want to add detail and that kind of thing. Overall, this is looking really good. I think that the elements that I have questions about is I don't know what this is up here. There are chair rails, and then there's crown molding, and this is kind of between the two. So like the chair rail would be down here somewhere. And I guess that's the crown molding, like up around the top, but I see some things over there that I'm just not quite sure what's going on up there. So I would just double check in on that, and make sure that ceiling is the right height. So if the characters stand up, they're not like giants in there. In terms of the lighting, I would actually, if it was me, I would take these two lights out. I actually think that they're working against us a little bit, because what we would want is those no lights there, so we can have a little bit darker back here so the lighter character can pop. Same thing back here, we can allow his backside to get a little darker, and then use this as a motivation to create a little bit of rim around the back of him there. And then and then the key light's looking pretty good. Oh, in terms of shading on the characters too, I think that Diana a while back had that idea of just creating a noise pattern and having it run in direction of the hair to kind of create some more color variation up there. I would try that as well. Yeah, and then really I would work at darkening this back wall up a little bit. It's also, and I don't know the location. This feels somewhere between a restaurant and a home. There's no, and I guess it's nighttime, so it's fine, but it's like usually with homes you have some sort of influence from a window light too. So just something to consider there. Outside of that, I think it's it's all working pretty well. I think that the overhead light might be a little strong. These plates are getting a little blown out. But the structure of it's really sound. So I'm excited to see what this looks like when it's all animated up and stuff. But yeah, so that's all for today, everybody. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I will see you back again on Wednesday. All right, happy lighting, everybody.